So good afternoon, February 28, 2014. This is CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy. Today is day number 5 in the semester, week number 3. So let's get started. So first of all, welcome back to this class, very late in the Friday afternoon from 5:30 to 7. Today we have privileged, when you look at the white screen, we have 3 students who would like to share with us the topics of the learning as of last week. So if you come to this screen, you can see that the first one is Ivy. Are you here? Thank you, Ivy. The second one is Wu. Are you here? Thank you. The third one is Peter. Thank you. So in the second half hour, I'm going to pass the time to each one of you. Each one of you will have about 5 minutes time to share with us what you learned in the past week. You can understand where you are. The best one is hold the microphone in front of where I am and look at your fellow students. So I become your cameraman. And remember, after you finish sharing, put it in your notebook that you did share today for what purpose or what topic, much better. And then towards the end of your semester, you need to give me a list of class participation, and that will become a very valuable list of activity. Now, not just for sharing. If after one student sharing, you have a question for that, you can always raise your hand. I'll pass the microphone to you. You can try to engage into a discussion with your classmate who would like to share. And then you can also say, the particular class, I did participate in class discussions, and here's where it happened, okay? So that is a very interesting way to stimulate your class participations. You got points from it. So let us get back to where we are as of last class on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, this is week number 3, we are still in the learning contract number 1. We have to complete 2 specific modules introduction. On Tuesday, we help you understand something on ethics and social responsibility. Today, we would like to bring forward what you learned on Tuesday to the topic called the digital divide in the 21st century. Okay? For those of you who have been conscientious enough to go through the during class activity, which is what you can get from clicking on this link, you know that we're going to discuss something. Now, before we get started with today's discussions on the digital divide, I would like to spend 3 minutes only per table thinking one very simple idea. What do you think of the information age? What do you think of the information age? What do you mean by an information age? When you think of the information age, what is it in your mind? Okay, think about this simple question first. 3 minutes time, okay? So at least we have a table with 2 students and a table of 3 students. While you're doing this thinking for 3 minutes, and actually you can do a talking, all right? So, and then I'm going to engage you in a discussion. So let me give you some papers first. What do you think of the information age? Very good time to make this what we call not installations. I studied it in the US. Okay, we need to read 2 specific articles or stories per week. Each one is 20 pages. So about how many pages a week? It's a story. That's a we have to share the story, engage in discussion. Okay, this is for you. That's for me. So, let's walk through the tables. Yes, maybe we start from this. Okay, 3 minutes past. Let's get on with our discussions. So, what do you think of the information age? What do you believe is important in the information age? Whatever question you believe is important, or answer you believe is important. Now let me pan my camera to the three-man table. Peter, Dan, and Thomas. Do you have anything to share, or do you finish with the eating first?
In our group, we think the information age is, when we think about the information age, we think about the changing in the how the information travel that involve the communication.
Yes.
Or technology.
Okay.
The integration of the technology or the involvement of the technology in the way we communicate. That's when we talk about the information age. But the point is that just a changing.
Okay.
They change the way we communicate, changing the way we interact with each other.
Okay.
Because before, when, for example, when people want to communicate with each other, it takes long to reach the people or the person that we want to communicate.
Right.
But because of the changing in the way we communicate, and also the changing and the involvement of the technology, the way we communicate is easier, and also the information travels very fast. So we just want to say that it's the involvement of the technology in the way we communicate.
Okay.
Thank you.
That's a very interesting interpretation. Just carry on, Dan. If you have something to add, you can tell. Yeah, sure.
I find that it's just like the industrial revolution.
Okay.
Yes, it will train the whole people's different styles, for example.
Okay.
And also autonomous cars, I think, is also an information age product.
All right.
Yeah, because they has a electronic money.
Oh, electronic transactions of money.
Yeah. But it's all just is an exchange of some information between between the customer and the shop.
Okay.
However, it just let us do not need to face a loss or large sums of money
Right.
and to go to buy things. Also, just usually this age we usually use messages, but not anything to contract connection to another or do other things.
Okay. I think your sharing has brought out a lot of very interesting detail. We can take up from that. So could you choose a table of your choice to allow the sharing of the next table? Yes. Thank you. Ladies first. All right. So help us to remember the name, okay? Yes. Hello. Yes. Tell us something of your thinking of the information age, okay?
Information, we think the context of information age is the global economy.
The global economy. Oh, that's interesting.
Information age creates a knowledge-based society.
All right.
The information age is more like computer age.
A computer age, okay, technology.
Yes, and the digital revolution.
Digital revolutions, okay.
The ways people communicate and
Yes.
uh,
Do business with.
and the industry.
And the industry, yes, yes. It's the way people communicate and the way business are done, yes.
Change.
Okay. That's all right, thank you. Thank you for your contributions. So let's come to this table. Hello.
Hi. I think that the information age is since the technology has appeared and it is growing and changing very quickly.
Right.
It produces many products like computer, telephone, iPad, etc.
Right.
And it brings us very many convenience and we can get the information very easily, just like we catch up our mobile phone and just using the internet and we can get the information.
Okay, I think you also make very good points. Information age is characterized by a lot of the technology products which could help us to get information very conveniently and very easily, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, what about your partner? Do you have anything to add or to share with us? Hello.
We think that at the information age, we can study or work more effective and quickly.
Okay, effective and quickly, yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's very good. Quick and simple, right? Yes, to the tables of our ladies. Right.
I think that this age provides us more job opportunities for example, IT jobs. And
Okay.
there are so many data and information. How can we use those things to
Right.
more effectively, and
Okay.
how to protect our information security?
Okay, so you brought up some very sensitive issue. Yes, continue. Yes, you're welcome.
Talking about information security is one point I have to ask is that how many ways we can correct or is that the data right or wrong? Is that fake or real? I
Okay.
think the issue that faced to be all people around the world.
Yes, I think if I can understand you correctly, you would like to follow up with the information security issue in this age that we call information age. Looks like there is something that could hardly be characterized right or wrong because perhaps the law has not been made yet to legalize something or to say something is not legal. So a lot of fuzzy area. So how can we distinguish which one is which and how do we protect ourselves in a sense? not to be hurt, all right? So what about Ivy? Do you have anything to add?
No.
Not yet, okay? So you can pass the microphone to the other table. Hello, Stopsy.
I think information age is the time when people can communicate with each other in different places.
Okay.
And the information can transfer through in different countries, so we can know what happens in other countries. So I think we can simply find all the information on the internet or other media, so we can solve the problems easily.
Okay.
In the information age.
All right. So it's a lot of good ideas. Anything else, Antonio?
I think in the information age, the main problem is how to control and surveillance.
Okay.
Because nowadays, whether it's government or personal, it's not to use the internet or another electronic to share or order something.
Okay.
So it's really need to security.
Okay. So a lot of you would like to bring us back to the issues of security in the information age. So it's quite legitimate to think of that. And adding to this sharing of the earlier table, they brought up the issues of information age is about global economy in a knowledge society. That's a very interesting beginning. And many of you have also mentioned about the speed of information transfer and then the convenience of the access to different informations because of different digital products that we can use, like the smartphones, the tablet PC, the iPad. These are examples of the information age. Okay, so let's get started with watching a very brief video from the YouTube which tells us something about the information age. And then I will pass the time to the students who would like to share with us today. So today is day number 5. So let's try to take a look at a simple information age video. students' perspective of what is meant by an information age. Now you can see that from these students' interpretations of the gadgets of the information age, well, there is no such thing as right or wrong. Your interpretation is very worthwhile. But if you ask me, what do I think of an information age, I will probably give you this: too much information. We are suffering every day from information overload. So we need to have some kind of skills to sort out those irrelevant informations for the productive use of information in our life. Now, how do we cultivate such skills in our daily life when there's so much information around? Okay? So you can think about this to see in your living and learning with your device or computer every day, how much time have you spent online without getting something productive in return? I tell you what, ever since I kept in touch with my friends with Facebook, the first thing when I return to my desk is to take a look at if I have any Facebook messages. And then for those of my friends who left me a message, I will give them a message in return, and then I will go over my friends' sharing of the information. And normally, I did not expect that I would spend almost half an hour just doing that. Okay? When I should be doing something else. But it does not mean it's not something sensible. I have to keep in touch with my friend to keep up with the information, which I believe is important. But if I have to reprioritize them based on my daily work, I should have scheduled them towards the end of the day, which I used to do with my email in the past. But with Facebook, on top of my email work, which I do at the end of the day, then I always have to respond instantly. Okay? So that has affected my life in the information age. It does not mean it's meaningless. A lot of these are important. But without Facebook, I will not be informed of those things that happen to me so quickly. Okay? So it's a pros and cons. I do not know how you think, but we're going to help you understand the important context of information literacy perhaps next week, which is exactly the skill you need in the information age to sort through the information that's coming to you for some productive use of your living and learning. All right? So now, may I invite the three students. Do you need anything from the computer? Okay, so let's start with Ivy. So let me pass the microphone over there. So can you walk up here to share a message so the whole class can listen to you carefully? So this is Ivy. Hi Ivy, it's your time now.
Today I would like to talk about the lessons we learned from the Hong Kong Auto Parts Cars Company. It sells clients' information to other companies. In Macau, we can sometimes receive phone calls for the questionnaire service. I'm very surprised why those people can get our phone number. Do they know and get our information from somewhere? Sometimes I think we are not under privacy. They always phone me that make me feel annoyed. In fact, can our phone company easily pass our personal information like phone number to the third party? However, they do not get our permission before. It makes me feel that I can't get protection. So this is my sharing.
Thank you very much. To help us to understand more about the practice of today's business in using private information for business purposes without the permission of the persons involved. So, Peter, are you the next person, or who? Actually, the lady first, right? So, let's go to the lady first. Please pass the microphone. Yes. Thank you, Boo. So, would you mind standing in front so everybody can hear you much more comfortably? Thank you very much for your willingness to do so. Hello, it's your time now. Yes.
Today I'm going to share something about the ethics in the information age.
Thank you.
We now live in what is called the information age. It is an age where everything from personal correspondence to credit card data can be exploited by anyone with great knowledge and malicious motives.
Okay.
Like it or not, we are all tied down towards such technology. So keeping from ignorance of those things is the best way to protect yourself and to respect others. Therefore, I'm going to introduce 4 ethical values in IT, namely accuracy, property, accessibility, and privacy.
Wow, that's very good.
Accuracy is about the authenticity. For instance, it is of importance to think about if the information you intend to publish on the web it is true or reliable. Property involves the ownership of information. And most of the time it will be illegal to download products without charging procedure.
Right.
And privacy is about secrecy. Today, a considerable number of people intentionally violate the law of privacy,
Right.
trying to hack into others' computer and get their secret data.
Right.
Although the rapid development of IT has changed people's lives and their ways of seeing the world, but there is still something remained. Our common value, our standard of right and wrong. For instance, ethics should always be the foundation on which human activities are carried out.
Right. I think you did a very good job in helping us to understand some ethical standards to measure the information age. Right. So, thank you. So Peter, it's your turn. Thank you, Peter.
Today I want to share about what is the social responsibility in the information age. I think the social responsibility for the information age should be trying to control the information instead of growing it. As we all know, we are living in a social information age because we are using Wi-Fi and wires, we are using WhatsApp, we check Facebook, and every time while we want to communicate with another. However, we have underestimated the destruction brought by those technologies. For example, as we all know that online there's a lot of privacy about music privacy, and some movies privacy. They are making some kind of big comments on and illegal downloading. And that is a destruction for our creative industry. Because while you downloading it, you are actually letting somebody works to become illegally downloaded by yourself. And that is some kinds of, I think, it's a stealing something.
Right.
Yes.
It's very good.
So while we growing, our information technology growing, I think we should understand how to control it. For example, we should stop online piracy while we using YouTubes or downloading some things. And we should understand, or the society should understand how to protect themselves while they are going online. Because as we all know that while you're using your Facebook, actually your personal information will easily stolen by some hacker or some kind of videos on the internet. So I think that is our social responsibility in order to control, in order to grow it, actually we should know how to control it. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think it's a very good example. Peter used the example of privacy of some media, such as a film. Well, a lot of us who download films, from some sites, okay, or textbooks from some sites, so that we do not need to pay for it. If we cherish the idea of social responsibility, we need to ask for the practice of ethical standard. Should we do that? And so it's the collective actions more than an individual action. So I think it's a very interesting example that you brought up here. Excellent sharing from the three students in our class, and I'm looking forward to more, more sharing from individual students. Now, may I just tell you that sometime after an individual student have shared something which is very interesting, and it will be good if you politely raise your hand and help to add into the sharing by coming up with your sensible question. When we talk about sensible question, it does not mean it's a question you pose to the student who share, but it's a question when you raise, the whole class could think about this. And we can learn from one another by giving you ideas, and that would make the class discussion much more meaningful rather than the individual sharing only. So I hope that we're getting into a stage like this, all right? So with that, let us get started with today's class. We are talking about digital divide. So let's think a little bit more about this with a simple introduction of digital divide. So when we talk about a divide, we are talking about something that happens which will classify us into possibly two groups. The have groups, those who have, and those who do not have, okay, they have not. So when we talk about the digital divide, we're talking about in every society, we could foresee there is a possibility of those who have the resources to enjoy the digital era. That means get access to the internet through the use of computer, and those who may not have this privilege to get access to the internet because they don't even have a computer. So the idea is very simple. If we could do something to get rid of the digital divide, that is an example of social responsibility. Okay? So, but who is going to do that? As well, you do generous enough. If you know some of your friend, family do not have enough resources to have a computer, you say, I donate a computer to you. Well, that is an individual act of charity. But as a society, if we could have some collective action to do something about this, so much better. So we would think of what if the government is going to do something? Well, with grateful heart, we do understand in Macau and in Hong Kong, the government have done something. For example, provide free intellect resources in some government resource center, such as the library, the public libraries, where you can walk into the public library, you can use the computer there to get online, to enjoy the access. And in Macau, we also have the e-pass concept, called the e-government concept. Well, each of the citizens here, or even non-permanent resident here, is entitled to have something called e-pass account. So that e-pass account you can actually go through to apply for something or do some procedure with the government units online. Okay? So in Hong Kong, they have something similar too. But the question is, many of the elderly people may not know how to use a computer, okay? And not even though they have a computer. So in all the services provided by the government is going to be moved online, the government must have some policy to help those who know not how to do it the way it's supposed to be. Now these are possible examples of social responsibility. With that background, let's try to look at what is digital divide with some simple video. And then I would encourage you to pick up a piece of paper and a pen provided to you, jot down some of the main points you believe are important, and then we can follow up the video with some discussions, okay? some video. Now, do you remember how many companies have been featured in this video and they have done something good to close the gap? How many? 3. Okay, you watch 3. So these companies are doing something to close the gap as a result of the awareness of what? CSR, corporate social responsibility. Okay? Because they believe that they have the responsibility to return something good to the society. And one thing they chose to do is to do closing the gap of digital divide. In what way? Produce a program which will enable more in the family to have laptop computer, some of these with internet access, and definitely without internet access, no way you can hope to work. One computer per child, okay, and increase the percentage of that. Now I would like you, at this point, to think about, just as what Peter has said in his sharing, if I want to fulfill my citizens' responsibility to do good, I can choose not to download private film from the internet to watch. Now, from another point of view, instead of not doing something, you can choose to do something positive. If you want to choose to do something positive to close the gap of the digital divide, what would you do? This is the first question. Oh, I have just given you an example. If I have enough money, and if I know that there are some family, they are my friends who need a computer, I may donate a computer to them with internet access. Okay, this is one example. What more can you do? Now, I give you 3 minutes time to think about this. What more can you do as an individual to close the digital divide? What can you do? Think about it. Think about it. Okay, let's start by collecting some of your ideas of what, as an individual or as a student, what can you do to close the digital divide? Can we start the table where Ivy is? Ivy, can you share with us something?
I think we can teach them to use the technology, and we can find some teaching course to let them to study.
Oh, that's very good. I think you use some knowledge to help, right? So you can help those who know not how to use them. So that's a very good thing. Any more ideas? Okay, you can pass the microphone to the boys. Stubbsy, what do you think you can
Some
do?
children may not know how to use the computer,
Right.
or to search, or they have to finish their homework by searching the thing on the internet. So if they do not know how to use it, and they may not finish it. So I think we can take some time to have a lecture for them to teach them how to use the computer, or if they they don't own the computer, we can lend some maybe iPad to them.
Right.
And I think every week we can have a lecture, or we can lend once to them. Yeah.
I think it's very good. It's very wonderful that you can think of these, contribute your time and expertise for those particular kids who need help. And I very much appreciate your idea to give them an iPad too. Although we may not be wealthy enough, but there are sources in the society. Basically, I think they're willing to donate, right? So if we could collect different points of resources, we can put them together. We contribute expertise, and maybe those units contribute the devices, right? So it's very good. Thank you. Any more idea from your table before you pass the microphone? Okay, you can pass the microphone to the table. Good choice. Thank you. So what do you think, Tan? Ji? Yes.
Well, I think it's the problem of education.
Education.
And the chance.
Chance, yes.
Yes, because if you close the gap, you must make the people to use more the computers and others.
Right.
Yeah. However, education is important, just as somebody said, to make some courses to teach them to use. So I think that it must be increase the chance to the people to use them.
Okay.
For example, you donate a computer to a person. However, that person do not use the computer so many times.
Yes.
So this is useless and do not have any tools for close down the gap.
Okay.
Or we may make a thing that give more a chance to make the people to use the lessons.
So how do we design some kind of program to give people more chances to use the computer?
Well, actually, some people do not use the computer. I think that is the writing. It's like the old styles or process, like to writing some things and
right.
Yeah. So or maybe just build up a new computer, just can use the pen to write on it, but do not need to reverse. So yeah.
Okay, I think you make a very good point. We need to put some more thoughts into this. Yes, even if we have resources computer, but if it's put in the hands of those who will not use it, because the chance is not there, it's not going to be of much use. And so we need to think more about this, okay?
Yes, just because the COVID.
Yeah. Could you pass the microphone to the table next to you? So what do you think in your table? What can we do to close the digital divide gap?
We suppose what essential is to what essential in terms of bridge the gap is to stimulate and accelerate the development of the local economy.
Okay.
Because if people are still struggling underneath the basic survival line,
right.
they would not spare their time to think about those things. And even if we introduce this fund and computers and all the basic frustration, and then
right.
It is still useless because they couldn't think about those things unless they can just meet their needs.
Okay, so you mean you need to think of their physical needs first. So that's the economy of the regions gets improved. People will have enough means to support their needs in the digital resources. Okay, we thank you very much for your contributions. So what about this table? Hello.
And we think we can help them, teach them how to develop their
Economy, right?
and education.
Education.
And if they have money, they can learn how to use technology.
Okay.
Themselves.
Okay, I think you did a very good job by following up with the ladies' tables idea. It's very good. So my first question is this: what can we as an individual do to help close the digital divide gap? So in order to share with you a little bit of my personal experience with students who have done something which I believe is very good, I'm going to show you a short video, okay? And of course there are many videos in YouTube which can help us to understand what we can do. But this video is about a group of students from the Hong Kong Polytechnic University.
I like service there because a lot of people always serve me there. And so I think I have a lot of experience about service.
I would like to make this world a better place. Like, there are lots of discontent, discord in our world. That by knowing more about each other, by stepping into each other's shoes, that you can really understand their needs, their concerns, what they want, and all this can help make, by mutual understanding, you can know more about each other and help making our world a better place, a more peaceful one.
If we want to have our younger generation more fruitful and more advancing towards and being more competitive with others, we need to do more.
I like to think of service learning as the closest to a complete education.
It poses a great impact throughout my life, that changing my attitude and strengthen my belief in helping others, and also staying strong when we have difficulties.
After the service, I really push to continue my thinking about programs and other things for now.
Even the service recipients, their impact is very short. So it's a learning part that the students most benefit from doing those learning things, right?
Realization, awareness, and self-development.
Find more yourself.
Service and learning together.
When you put academic components into service and let students learn about these academic components through giving service to people.
Service learning is a way to encourage students to be willing to put their knowledge in practice. So the learning part is the most important.
Service learning offers students the unique opportunity to engage with the society and rethink the meaning of their study and their role in society. In this episode, we will follow Dr. Nai, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Wu in the Service Learning Project, in which students visit and teach computing skills to children in Cambodia. Dr. Nai, Dr. Chang, and Dr. Wu will also share with us their experience of teaching service learning subjects and the challenges and rewards that come with it.
Service learning is rewarding, but I do have to say it is probably the most challenging in terms of teaching. first challenge is from the student level. In general, whenever we bring students on these subjects, we always have students whose idea is to go on their essential holiday and just to play. We find that the reflective essays have been a wonderful way in dealing with them.
These days seems a bit messy, but you guys make me know how to consider of others and make me know how to cooperate with you guys.
The reflection really helped us, and I really want to thank my supervisors and also their tutors. Yeah, they really helped us because every night we have meetings and all that kind of thing that really help us, and they really do other kind of reflection with us when we went back to Hong Kong.
Giving them a lot of reflection to do, making them really think about what they were learning, I think that actually had a very positive impact upon the motivation of our students, motivating them to actually put themselves aside and actually serve and try to learn from this experience. So can you share with us about what you have learned?
It's not for the result if you never try. Just in case if I'm not prepared.
In the past, I was too target-oriented, like what I would like to do, what I would like to achieve. For some of the time, I may be quite reckless towards others' needs, like the service recipients' needs. I may not care too much about their needs, but through this experience that I learned that it is important for us to step into their shoes, to know more about their abilities, their needs, and to conduct their service projects in a more effective manner.
The other challenge that I can think of immediately is in terms of the challenges in terms of knowledge that we are dealing with. Another example also comes from this summer when we actually put together a project that involved bringing our students to this orphanage that was serving HIV/AIDS positive orphans. We gave a lot of training, we gave them a lot of preparation. We had doctors coming from Prince of Wales Hospital. We had the orphanage director coming to talk about the orphans and so on. They went in there within 3 seconds. They were with the kids. They were talking with the kids. They were playing with them. They were holding them. And I think that the biggest difference was the amount of preparation that we gave them.
As one of the preparation activities, students participated in a warm-up service at a local school of special education, in which they visited and played games with a group of mentally challenged kids. At the end of the service, they were given a debriefing by Dr. Nai.
Let me just ask a question about that, okay? Who was not comfortable at the beginning? The reason why we brought you here is because think about this environment. This is a very normal environment, right? Look at how clean the place is. I wonder how many of our classrooms in any corner are this clean. Now think about Cambodia. You are in a very different environment. I guarantee you it will be nowhere as clean as here. The kids will be something that you have not seen before. Some of the kids today, they were mentally challenged, but they were clean. Some of the kids in Cambodia will not be clean. Most of them will not be wearing shoes. You will not be wearing shoes. The environment will not be clean like this. There will be dust, there will be dirt everywhere. Right? So in a way, the reason why we brought you here is because we want to see how you will react, how you will react to the challenge of being in a situation that is not exactly something that you are used to.
Well, I'm really glad that I come be able to observe this particular project in this class. It is obvious that Professor Nai, Grace, Stephen Chen, Professor Chen have prepared them very well. The expectation of the student to be well prepared. I think the staff themselves need to be well prepared. I think this is one lesson that I hope, at least I learned from this experience. And I certainly will try to encourage all the staff to remember that when they start designing the service learning course.
Here we go, Cambodia.
with each other, handle personal conflicts, handle differences of opinion. And through the process, they actually assessing each other. Sometimes you don't really need to go in and say, okay, who has been the leader? It is obvious from how they interact with each other, who has been stepping up. Sometimes we put this student in as a team leader. It turns out the other person is actually a much more effective leader. And this we can see because we work alongside them and we can see them. And the assessment sometimes is actually quite easy because it is quite very obvious.
Then so because we're a team, we need to know what happened during the conversation with the visit. Is that okay? I was just thinking about how students learn and how service learning connects to the academic discipline. And I think that one of the ways that they connect the most is that it actually lets students take whatever they were learning in the classroom and put it to real use. All of the stuff that is from pre-1 to all of a sudden starts to make sense. And that was because they actually had to understand the stuff in order to put it in place.
Most of the times in class, we lecturer only talk about some theories, and in fact we may not know how the theory works. But when we go into the real world and we work with that theories, and we find that, oh, these theories work like that.
And in some of our other projects where we actually get students to go and teach, because we are from the Department of Computing, we ask them to go in and teach, programming or something like that. And really, one of the students came back and told me, said, wow, when I started preparing the lesson plans, when I started teaching, then I realized how many holes there were.
I remember in these few days I have taught my students, because I'm leaving how I taught my students about the programming. Yeah, and I really learned a lot from her, because I remember we revised the programming language because I haven't touched programming for nearly one semester. Yeah.
Through those subsequent projects, they provide tricks and catalysts for students to eager to learn more, and then we can offer that more afterwards. That is the trick. I mean, we are not saying that all the subsequent projects can fulfill all the components of either professional knowledge. That is not necessary. But that it serves as a way to initiate and motivate us. That is more important. That is the purpose of education.
Those learning to use one's intrinsic to bring out some extrinsic force. That is fair to you. That is fair for you, but it's essential for others.
Service learning can help you find more yourself.
I think that doing the service learning subjects are probably, even forget the subject, even the project itself is probably one of the most demanding things that I've had to deal with. I think the biggest thing is that it's one of the most satisfying things that I've ever done. It's one of the most challenging things that I've ever done, but it's also one of the most personally satisfying things. To see the students grow, to see how to actually watch them grow over the course of one summer while they are working with the projects. I remember one summer where you see the student at the beginning of the summer and you see him at the end of the summer and you're like, wow, this kid is like two different people. And then watching them, start from being just simply participation to starting to coordinate, to starting to lead, and to start to propose projects. And towards the end of his academic studies, he was actually going out and recruiting new project staffers. And that is just so completely amazing. And I don't know, I mean, in many ways, I see our students as, okay, they're not my kids, but they're somebody else's kids. And, I'm sure that his parents would be happy to see him learning something like this. And as his teachers, it is the duty and the responsibility that society or our job has placed upon us. But at the same time, it's also just, I mean, what could be more satisfying than actually seeing us make an impact in somebody's life, something that visible. You could teach like half a dozen subjects, get a really good SFQ and still not see that, because the students will not remember you after the subjects. But
for the service learning projects. I've never had a student who went on the service learning and they could not remember me afterwards. That's not gonna happen. Yeah.
I think, you know, it's important. Now I'm more convinced that particularly for academic staff who have never done it before, I would strongly encourage those staff to take time to come out to one of the service learning course to understand and experience what this is all about before you get into the planning, before you get into the designing of the course at all.
Here we go. This is the summary episode. You can see both the perspective from the teachers and the students. Well, later on, I'll give you some specifics on the Cambodia trip. Last year, 2013, they received the support from the big telephone companies in Hong Kong. 60 mobile devices, 3 to give to the student in Cambodia. And then they built the Iron Man device because in Cambodia they do not have internet access. They have to teach them something about the resources of Wikipedia. The group of students virtually download the whole Wikipedia and store it in the Iron Man. The Iron Man itself is a mobile service station. So they bring the Iron Man to the school where they are going to teach the kids for 1 week. They set up the mobile server, and all the 60 devices to access the mobile servers, just like they access the internet, but they have the Wikipedia with them. With the Wikipedia, they can learn a lot. All right? And then towards the end, they donate the Iron Man to the school, and actually have several sets of Iron Man. And they produce a very interesting free-wheel tricycle. They drove the tricycle to different students, to different countries, villages in Cambodia. And they spend days there with the kids, teach them how to use the iPad and the devices to learn how to draw, to upload it, and whatever they can do with the Wikipedia. The kids have good lessons. And the students learn a lot. Do not know how to teach someone something from the very beginning, do not have enough motivation, so towards the end they're transformed. So when they return from the service learning trip, which lasts for about 3 to 4 weeks in Cambodia, they need to do something before they go. Okay? What they did in the service learning period after they return, they share the experience with other students, recruit students to join the project. And every year is about, they have several teams. The team that I mentioned has 60 students. But normally every year they have about close to 200 students divided into 3 teams, three sets of teams, okay, going to Cambodia, doing something like this every year. It's a meaningful thing. They did what they could. They used what they learned as a first year, second year student. Some of these are senior students, some of these are junior students. Very good mix of the 4 years of students. And they come from different disciplines, but led by the Department of Computing, because they're responsible for making the technology available. It's a very meaningful project. So you know that there's something we can do to. In our school, we have a service learning program coming up. And then, for those of you who live in the residential college, you can actually come up with ideas doing something like this. And of course, I think Macau is very rich in resources, so we can do something like that. Okay, I think that's, I have to stop here today. I would like you to go home and put some more thought into things like this. And if you would like you to go to watch the other episodes, and then when we come back next week, next Tuesday, hopefully we have another set of students who sign up to share with them. Perhaps on reading this, you have to form and share. And if you have any project, you think it's good, it's wonderful. All right? So let me take attendance first. Okay, let's see. So Christy, thank you. Shannon, thank you. And then Amelia, she's not here today, right? Michael, thank you. Jacqueline, thank you. Antonio, thank you. And then Stossi, thank you. Ivy, yes. Maggie, thank you. Thomas, yes. And then Angie, no. I think Amelia told me that she was not going to be here today, she's excused yet. And Lampard, thank you. Zihi, yes. And then Julia, thank you. Laurent, not here today. Peter, yes. Okay, Lampard, I think that's the first time here, right? No, okay. Then, have you paired up with someone else in this course? Okay, let me just try to make sure that you know. Because in order to carry out the joint assignment and submit it, you need to pair with someone. And then let me show you where you can find the information. So right here you see the student pairing information, week number 3, okay? So you see that we have 7 pairs and we should have 8 pairs, right? So let me see, you're right here with an X, that means we're not paired yet. It looks like we have only one student to be paired with you, and that is Angie, I guess, but she's not here so far. Do you know this student? No? So now, let me do it this way. If by next class, that means next Tuesday, Angie is still not here, I will let you choose one pair to join, okay? But in the meantime, make sure that you will read the information on the submissions very carefully. Okay? So when you read the information on the submissions here, a lot of items in item 3 and item 4. The item, this one, item 3, and item 2 must be done with your learning partner. Okay, so if you do have a learning partner, you will have difficulty getting this piece of work done. So by next Tuesday, if Angie has not returned as we expect, I will let you choose one pair out of the 7 pairs now, so you can join. So you might want to keep all of the fellow students in this class in touch. Okay, all of them have done some self-introduction. Have you done it here? With the microphone, do you remember? Have you? No, that means you're not here. So you're responsible to getting at least one pair to keep you, okay? If Angie is not here, okay? I just have to inform you that. So I think that's it for today, and I'm looking forward to see you again on Tuesday, all right? So hopefully you put some thought into the ethics, corporate social responsibility, digital divide this week. Next week, if you look at it, it's information competency and literacy, all right? So see you later next week. Welcome. So that's it for today's class CISG113, Section 1, Information Security and Privacy on February 28, 2014. See you next week.